The new tolerance, though, on the other hand, is the belief that all religions lead to God, all religions are equally valid, all beliefs are equally true, and all behavior is equally wholesome. And then part 2 of the new tolerance says, and if you don't agree with us on that, there's no place for you in our new world order. Okay? You're the cause of all the wars in the history of mankind. Okay? So what I'm getting at is that, you know, this idea is starting to spread. It scares me. You know, I expect liberal socialists who are communist sympathizers, I expect them to be anti-Christian. But then when people who start calling them conservatives start slamming Christians in the name of the new tolerance, I start to scratch my head and say, what is wrong with this picture? But Dan Brown holds to the new tolerance. So this forces his conclusions and what he's arguing. So he has a politically correct new tolerance agenda that he is trying to force down our throats through writing a novel, but then claiming that the history behind the novel is actually true, the historical aspects. So basically what he's saying, he's claiming to present an accurate history of Christianity behind the scenes. So what happens here is that in this book, there is a search for the Holy Grail, okay? And what they find out is that the Holy Grail isn't really the chalice that held the wine at the Last Supper. Instead, the Holy Grail is that which contains the blood of Jesus, and it turns out to be Mary Magdalene. It turns out she is Jesus' secret wife, and she's pregnant with his baby while Jesus is being crucified. And the apostles are jealous of her because she's the #1 apostle. And so the apostles start this anti-woman agenda, and they'd like to see her dead. She sneaks out. Eventually her descendants end up in France, and they mingle with the French royal line. And so you got the blood of Jesus flowing through people's veins, and these people are kept hidden. The Knights Templar and others had to hide this secret and protect it, and things of that sort. And this is all fairy tale. This is all fairy tale, and this guy's acting like this is the truth of the matter. So let me just read to you just a couple paragraphs from this, page 233 and 234 of the Da Vinci Code. He's talking about the Council of Nicaea, which occurred about 325 A.D. At this gathering, Teabing said, many aspects of Christianity were debated and voted upon. The date of Easter, the role of bishops, the administration of sacraments, and of course, the divinity of Jesus. I don't follow his divinity. When I'm talking like that, that's the lady, that's Sophie, okay? To me, that sounds chauvinistic. The guys are in the know, and the ladies, oh, wow, the divinity of Jesus. But, you know, if I wrote a little dialogue like that, they'd say, oh, you're anti-woman. Brown writes it, I guess it's okay. But she's like, you know, dumbfounded by this. My dear, Teabing declared, until that moment in history, Jesus was viewed by his followers as a mortal prophet, a great and powerful man, but a man nonetheless, a mortal. You know, he acts like either Jesus is God or he's a man. Originally, they thought he was a man, and later on, Constantine twisted it, and they turned him into a god. He acts like it's either or. It's like, where are you getting this from? No Christians ever denied that Jesus was fully man, but we also believe he's fully God. It's called the hypostatic union. Jesus is one person with two natures forever. He's fully God and fully man. Always existed as God, the second person of the Trinity. At a point in time, he added a human nature and became a man. And so he says, but he's a man nonetheless, immortal. Not the Son of God? Right, Teabing said. Jesus' establishment as the Son of God was officially proposed and voted on by the Council of Nicaea. Hold on. You're saying Jesus' divinity was the result of a vote? A relatively close vote at that, Teabing added. I don't know about you, 316 to 2? That is not a close vote in my book, okay? But whatever the case, this is supposed to be fact, according to this guy. But he said relatively close vote at that, 316 to 2. Good, close vote, whatever. T being added. Nonetheless, establishing Christ's divinity was critical to the further unification of the Roman Empire and to the new Vatican power base. By officially endorsing Jesus as the Son of God, Constantine turned Jesus into a deity who existed beyond the scope of the human world, an entity whose power was unchallengeable. Many scholars claim that the early church literally stole Jesus from his original followers, hijacking, boy, some powerful language, huh? Hijacking his human message, shrouding it in an impenetrable cloak of divinity, and using it to expand their power. The twist is this, Teabing said, talking faster now. I guess he wants his readers to get all excited. The guy's talking faster now. Because Constantine upgraded Jesus' status almost 4 centuries after Jesus' death, thousands of documents already existed chronicling his life as a mortal man. The 4 Gospels teach that Jesus was a mortal man. But he was also fully God. But he seems to think you can only either be God or man, and he acts like the Christian church teaches that Jesus is God and really wasn't man. He's oblivious to what's going on here. We'll talk about that more as we go on. To rewrite the history books, Constantine knew he would need a bold stroke. From this sprang the most profound moment in Christian history. Teabing paused, eyeing Sophie. Constantine commissioned and financed a new Bible which omitted those Gospels that spoke of Christ's human traits. John 11:35, Jesus wept. You got Jesus getting tired and he's hungry. Nobody took out of the Gospels Jesus' human traits. Omitted those Gospels that spoke of Christ's human traits and embellished those Gospels that made him godlike. The earlier Gospels were outlawed, gathered up, and burned. An interesting note, Langdon added, anyone who chose the forbidden Gospels over Constantine's version was deemed a heretic. This has so many problems. To be honest, I don't know where to begin. Okay. First off, the idea that the forbidden Gospels, the Gospels that he wants to be accepted, the forbidden Gospels, taught that Jesus was merely human? No, they didn't. He doesn't even know the forbidden God. They're Gnostic Gospels. Gnostics were Docetists. Gnostics were Docetists. A Docetist is someone that denies that Jesus fully became a man. A Docetist teaches that Jesus only pretended or only appeared to be a man, but really didn't become a man.